Hello, Lovelace. Welcome to today's maths lesson and welcome back from the holidays. I hope you had a fantastic break, are refreshed and ready to go with a new half term. As you can see, we are carrying on with our work on fractions. Today, we're cranking it up a notch because today we're going to see if we can add 3 or more fractions. Okay, still revolves around that rule though. We can add fractions quite easily if the denominators are the same. So as long as we are creating equivalent fractions, you don't need to worry about this. It's no more difficult, okay? We just need to follow that rule. We create equivalent fractions, so our denominators are the same. We can add up anything we like. But first, a little warm-up. Let's see if we're awake today. 3 questions, pause the video, have a go at those 3. Okay, well, the first one is all whole numbers. But hopefully what you've done here is have a look at the actual numbers themselves. Are any of them nice to add together? Because in this order, it's not really that pleasant. But you might have spotted that 54 and 46 together, the 4 and the 6, they add up to a nice round 10. And then we've got the 50 and the 40. So those two numbers together actually make 100. So they're just a nice pair of numbers just by reordering. So we've got 100 plus the 77. And that's far more easy than trying to work these out. So always look at the numbers themselves. Always look to see if there's any nice pairs to add. Our next one, well, here we've got 3 fractions to add together. But as you know, we need to make sure all the denominators are the same. So we're going to create equivalent fractions whereby 2/3 is in twelfths. The 12th, 1/12 is already in twelfths, and then we're going to turn the 6th into twelfths. There we go. So we multiply the 3 by 4 to get 12, and the 2 by 4 to get 8. Remember, whatever you do to the bottom, you do the same to the top. The 12 can stay as it is, so 1/6 becomes 2/12. We've multiplied top and bottom by 2. So we've now got 8/12 plus 1/12 plus 2/12. We're going to put it in a bar diagram here just so you can see. There's the 8/12. There's one more, and there's 2 more. Altogether, we've got 11/12. Finally, we've got some equivalent fractions. 3/7 is the same as how many 21sts? Well, 7 times 3 gives you 21. So do the same thing to the top, times by 3, you get 9. So 9 over 21 is exactly the same size as 3 over 7. It's equivalent. What about 15 over something? Well, to turn a 3 into a 15, we times by 5. We're going to do exactly the same to the denominator, 7 times 5, to give us 35. 15 over 35 is equivalent, is the same size as 9 over 21 and 3 over 7. Okay, right, here we go. 3 fractions, each of them with different denominators, which means at the moment, we can't add them together. We need to turn them into the same denominator. We need to create common denominators. Here, I am going to suggest 16. Okay, we've already put our 3/16 into our bar diagram. So now we need to turn our quarter into 16ths. Well, 4 times 4 is 16. 1 times 4 is 4. So 1/4 is equivalent to 4/16. And 1/2, 2 times 8 is 16. 1 times 8 is 8. So 1/2 is equivalent to 8/16. Okay. If you're still not sure about equivalent fractions, remember the videos are there. You can go back and just remind yourself how we create equivalent fractions. But the simple rule is whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top. You can multiply or divide, but as long as you do the same number, you will create an equivalent fraction. So we've now got 4/16 and 8/16 to put into our bar diagram. There's our 4, there's our 8. All together, we've got 15 over 16. Okay? And that all works simply because we've created common denominators, the same denominator in each of the fractions. Right, what about this one? Have a think, see if you can put that one together. Right, well, for this one, let's see what we're going to turn them into. I'm going to suggest turn them all into 24 fourths. Okay, so all of them over 24. The 3 24ths we've already put into our bar diagram. What about a half? Well, 2 times what gets you to 24? Well, it's 2 times 12. So 2 times 12 is 24. 1 times 12 is 12. What about 1/6? 6 times 4 gets you to 24. So 1 times 4 is 4. So we've got 12 24ths, 4 24ths, and 3 24ths. Let's put them all in the bar chart. There's the 12. There's the 4 more. Altogether, we've got 19 24ths. Okay, hopefully that's all very, very clear. Because we've created the same denominator, we just need to add the numerators. All right, let's put that into a word problem now. Exactly the same maths. Please do not worry just because we're throwing some words in there as well. But we've got Dexter eats 3/14, so 3/14ths of a cake. Eva eats 1/7 of the same cake. And Mo eats 1/2 of the same cake. So we've got 3 fractions there, 3/14, 1/7, and 1/2, 1/2. So let's look at what the sum is. How much of the cake is eaten? So it's an altogether. The amount that Dexter ate, the amount that Eva ate, the amount that Mo ate, altogether. Okay, so what's the sum? Well, hopefully you've realized it is a straightforward addition because that's the theme of the lesson. Big surprise. We've got 3/14 plus 1/7 plus 1/2. Okay. As we know, because the denominators are different, we can't add them up at the moment. We need to do a little bit of switcheroo. We need to create the equivalents. Okay, so let's do that. 1/7, to turn it into 14s, we're going to double. We're going to multiply by 2. 7 times 2 is 14. 1 times 2 is 2. So 1/7 is equivalent to 2/14. The half, we're going to multiply by 7. 2 times 7 is 14. 1 times 7 is 7. So 1/2 is equivalent to 7/14. So we've got 3/14, 2/14, and 7/14. We can now do the addition. Altogether, 3 plus 2 is 5, plus 7 is 12. We've got 12/14. Now that's not the end of this one, because if you look, we can simplify this fraction. We can make it a little bit smaller. We're just looking for a number that will go into numerator and denominator. So what number goes into top and bottom without leaving remainder? Well, 12 is an even number, 14 is an even number, so we can divide by 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6, 14 divided by 2 is 7. We've done the same to top and bottom, so we have got an equivalent fraction. The answer is 6/7. Okay, so it's just a little bit tidier. Okay, it's what we call simplifying the fraction. So, what have we actually said within this? Let's break it down. We're saying that 6/7 is the same as these 3 fractions added together. And let's go back to the question. 3/14, 1/7, and 1/2. Okay, the 3/14, 1/7, and 1/2 all together make 6/7. Right, your turn. We've got a selection of questions there, all involving you adding 3 fractions. Remember, make sure the denominators are the same. As long as you do that, you should have no problems at all. Pause the video, have a go. Okay, let's take a look. Right, for 1. Okay, for 1a, turn them into 12ths, and you'll wind up with 9 12ths. No, you won't, sorry. You'll end up with 10 12ths, which will simplify to 5/6. Okay, so 6/12, 3/12, plus 1/12 is 10/12, and that simplifies down to 5/6. B, 11 12ths. C is 11 12ths. And D is 3/4, because if we turn them into 12ths, we're going to get 9/12. So 4/3, sorry, 4/12, plus 3 over 12 plus 2 over 12. That gives you 9 over 12, which simplifies down to 3 over 4, 3/4. Okay, number 2. If we turn them into 20ths, we'll get 17 over 20. B, turn them into 32ths, or 30 seconds, and we get 19 over 32. The C, we're going to turn them into over 24, and that will give you 21 over 24, which simplifies down to 7/8. For D, 15 over 16. E, if we turn them into 18ths, we're going to wind up with 16 over 18, which simplifies down to 8 over 9. And for F, we're going to turn them into 35ths, which is 25 over 35, which simplifies down to 5 over 7. Okay, and for question 3, Rosie's vegetable patch. Basically, you're adding these 3 fractions. She's got 2/9 carrots, 5/18 of the patch is potatoes, and 1/3 is onions. So we're adding all 3 together and turn them into 18ths, and we will wind up with 15 over 18, and that will simplify down to 5 over 6. Okay. So at the moment, if you had the unsimplified answers, I'm going to let you have them because it doesn't say simplified to the smallest possible amount. So if you've got the larger fraction, but you've forgotten to simplify, then you can still give yourself a mark. Okay, so just to go back, 1A, if you had 10/12ths, yes, you can have it. For D, if you've got 9/12ths, you can have it. In question 2, if you have got, in C, if you've got 21 over 24, it's correct. E, if you've got 16 over 18, it's correct. And for F, 25 over 35, that's correct. And for 3, if you've got 15 over 18. But do please remember to look for ways to simplify, because sometimes the question will actually say you'll only get your mark if it's in its simplest form. It's really important you do go back and look to see if you can make those fractions smaller. Okay, right. A part whole model. Just the same way as you've just done. You've got 3 fractions to add together. Create the same denominators and you should have no problems at all. Okay, so pause the video, have a go at question 4. Okay, well, your answers here actually are the same. So don't be too surprised. There we go. If you've done this correctly, you will have got 15/16 for each of your answers. Okay, right. We've got a missing number here, a missing numerator within the sum. Now we know we can only do addition of fractions if our denominators are the same. So let's make them the same. Let's make them all 30. So we've got 7 over 30 plus, well, 1/6. Well, we're going to times top and bottom by 5 to get 5 over 30. Our missing numerator, we're going to have to times by 6 to get over 30. So we've got something over 30 equals 18 over 30 because we've multiplied by 6, top and bottom. Okay, so we've now got, for our calculation, we can sort of ignore the 30s because they're all exactly the same. So we just focus on the numerators. We've got 7 plus 5 plus something equals 18. Okay, so 7 plus 5 plus something equals 18. Let's have a look. There's our 18, 7 and 5 and something gets 18. So 7 and 5 is 12. What's our missing number? It's 6. Okay, so 6 over 30. We'll put our 6 in there. We'll put our 6 in our answer. Yes? No. Because remember, we've created an equivalent here. We multiplied by 6 to create this 30. So that isn't the correct answer. We need to now create an equivalent of this 6 over 30 as fifths. So 30 divided by 6 gives us 5. We must do the same to the top as we do to the bottom. So we're going to divide by 6 and we get 1. So our missing number there is 1/5. Okay? Right. One for you to have a go at. Have a think, pause the video and have a think about that one. Okay? Now, we know that we can multiply up to create an equivalent fraction, but we can also divide. And this is what we're going to have a go with this one. So we're actually going to turn them all into sevens. We're going to go the other way. We're going to divide. So our something over 14, our missing number, we're going to divide by 2 to get something over 7. We're going to turn our 8 over 28 into sevens as well. We divide by 4. Divide by 4 to get 7. 8 divided by 4 is 2. Give us 2 sevens. Our 1/7 and our 5/7 stay the same. Okay. Now, if you decided to turn them all into 28, that's absolutely fine. You will still get the same answer. So don't worry. It's just I thought for a change, we'll look at division as an alternative. Sometimes it might work out easier. So we've got something plus 2 plus 1 equals 5. Okay, so something plus 2 plus 1 equals 5. What's our missing number? Well, the missing number is 2. 2 plus 2 plus 1 is 5. But remember, this is now in sevens, and we need it in 14ths. So we're going to double the 7 to get 14. We're going to double the 2 to get a missing number of 4. Okay. Right. Few for you to try. Now, these are tricky. I'm not going to lie to you. So do your absolute best. Just remember, rule 1, make all your denominators the same. If you create equivalent fractions and your denominators are the same, you're well on your way to solving these problems. So 5, find the missing numerators in each case. Question 6, you're going to try and complete the grid. Each row totals 4/5. Each column totals 4/5. Now think about which ones you're going to do first. I would suggest you go across here and find this missing one. Then maybe down here and find this missing one. So think about lines of where you've got 2 fractions so you can work out the third. Okay, but have a go. Pause the video, have a go at those. Okay, so your answers. Missing number here is 2/16. B is 6/16. C is 2/16. D is 6/16. E 9/16. And F is 7/16. For each of those, it's probably most straightforward to turn everything else into 16ths. You've got 8s and 4s, so they should turn into 16ths quite nicely. For question 6, your missing fractions, when simplified, are 1/10, 3/20, 11/20, 3/10, and 3/20. Please, guys, can you remember to mark your work before you upload it onto Tapestry? Okay, that means I can focus on your mistakes, on your errors, and we can look at how we can fix those little misconceptions or those errors. Okay, so please do mark your work in the same way I would if I was in the classroom, and then I can focus on your errors. Okay, well, that's it for today. Take care of yourself, look after those around you, and fingers crossed, I will see you very, very soon. Take care.